back in the day, I was known for being a big carp man and single-mindedness. And I'd put my name on a fish. If I found a fish anywhere over 40, anywhere, I'd go and fish for it. 9 times out of 10, I'd catch it. Single-mindedness is all about thinking about the fish all the time, whether you're at work or whether you're at home or whatever you're doing. The minute your mind is not occupied by something that you're doing, your first thought goes, where's that fish today? What's it doing? What's it doing right now? What time is it? Could be doing this, could be doing that. And that's a single-mindedness sort of approach. When you actually get on the water, that's where the hard work starts, because then you've got to be up and down trees trying to locate it. Where people walk around the lake today, when I'm walking around the lake, there ain't a tree that I can't climb that I don't get up, because wherever that fish is, I want to see it. And then once I see it and I can follow it, I can then set a plan to where it's going to get caught, if it's going to get caught at that time. And that's basically the strategic way that I do it. And then the other way, obviously, is getting in the lake, finding out areas where a fish could be, not necessarily the biggest fish I'm looking for, but where fish would be, for what reason. That's another way. And then basically, I suppose to put it in a nutshell, when I went for the 45, I knew it had been caught from a certain swim. And when I got there, I looked at the swim and I looked at the area and I thought, yeah, that's a place where it's going to be quite regular. And so my mindset was to get bait in the area. I lived a little bit away from it, so I got a mate of mine to put bait up when no one else was fishing. And when it came to actually fishing for it, I caught 3 other fish. On the time I fished with my mate, the weekend before, I think it was, I was fishing the other side onto the Christmas tree area. And my mate said, oh, that big one jumped about 4 o'clock this morning. I said, then why don't you come round and tell me? So then my next session was to be on that point, to fish the Christmas tree from my left and fish towards the island where I thought it would move around to get to the Christmas tree. Now, there was 2 ways down to that Christmas tree to be safe for that fish's point of view. One was dead tight to the island on the other side of the island, but anglers fished there. So my thought was, if it's going to go to the Christmas tree, it's got to come this side of the island where there's no pressure. And so that's basically what happened. I put bait on the Christmas tree. I put a few baits on the island where I thought it would come through, and that's where I caught her. So that is the mindset on how to catch a particular single fish. You've got to find out which route it takes. And the only time it will change that route is if another angler comes along and interrupts it, i.e. by putting bait out, by catching it. And then it will move in another direction and it will come back to the route at some point. If it gets caught in one swim, you can guarantee it will get caught in that swim again. And that's basically the mindset of a single-minded angler that wants to catch a single fish. That's the way my mindset is. I'm not saying it's the best, but back in the day it worked for me.
Can you read it? Line it up, right? Yeah. I still think you're looking at 35-ish. straight out there, Richie. Wait a minute. Hang on, look. No, tail more good. That's it. Perfect. Lovely. I'm gonna drop it. Gonna go. What a fish. Oh my son.
Teddy going away.
It's what mid-40s look like in a water box. 40 pounders look like 40 pounders. That's a mid-40.
That's made his day, isn't it?
Thank you.
Take them older,
Well, that was worth the wait.
Oh yeah.
2 3.
Yeah.
Well, up to 60 yards, you can use them accurately from either a catapult or a throwing stick. I like to use a throwing stick because I do like to spread my bait. When they're spread the way I do, I fish all three around it, if you like. They're never ever dead tight. Because we've been filming, I need to catch fish. And I've always been in the opinion, if you've got a tight bed, you will catch a lot more fish, but a lot of them will be smaller than your average 25 plus. And that's what I've proved yesterday. A lot of our fish, I think the biggest one I had was 21, and the rest of them were big 18s, 19s or whatever. But until then, my average fish has dropped this year. I've had 330s this year, a couple of 25s, but the average has dropped in the last month. Due to spawning, I don't know. The bigger fish don't seem to be here like they were in numbers last year. But my spread of boilies, the way I fish, if I miscast, it don't matter. As long as I don't miscast into a snag or into a weed, I can leave it there because I know it ain't far away from another bait. That's the upside of my baiting. In my eyes, yeah. I mean, I've got one rod off the spot now because of yesterday, the amount of fish that I caught yesterday, not one over 25 pounds. So what I've done this morning, I put one right outside the baited area, and I baited up. All the fish I was catching last year were baited from this swim. This year, I put a marker on the bank over there, and I've started to tighten it right up. So I'm going round to the bank. The marker float goes out. Sometimes it's that far away from my marker on the bank, and other times it's that far away. But I can judge it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's 10 yards away, because all I do then is stand in front of my marker and bait straight out. And people that see me doing it from a distance ain't got a clue what I'm doing. They think it's nowhere near that float. Well, I don't want to be near the float because it's 10 yards away from my baited area, and that's what I do. And so, and you'll notice, I think you saw yesterday, where the marker float is over there, I do not bait past the marker float. All my 3 rods are going to be inside this marker float. The first one will be there, the second one will be there, the third one will be there. But now, 1, 2, and the third one is outside the marker float. So it's basically 1 or 2 baits near it, not many. And that's where I'm hoping, if we got time, the next fish I hope to catch on that left rod will be a 25 plus. Sometimes you get hard chips, but on these occasions I'm going to talk about is when you get a big wind rolling, you think, right, I know they're going to move on the wind, and then all of a sudden you see an head pop up, and then all of a sudden you see a big head pop up. That gets the excitement going straight away. So wherever your rods are fishing, you know that you've got to move to this area. Right, the fish is coming, but it's coming with the wind. Right, hang on a minute. I don't need to move the rods to that area. My rods are in the area where the fish are coming to. Sit still. So you get them panic attacks, whether I should move, not move swims, but move area where the rods are. Is that fish on line for my rod? And of course, when it's a big wind and fish are moving in big numbers, that is exciting. You don't see that anywhere on any council estate or on any town or anything. And of course, the other thing is when the birds are nesting after they've nested, when they come out with their young, and they're very protective. They'll come around and they'll look at you and say, don't come near my little babies. When in the autumn time when the Canada geese arrive and wonk, 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 you get that throughout the night, which keeps you half asleep and half awake, which helps you actually catch more carp sometimes because you want to be awake at certain times in the winter. And it ain't hard to stay awake from 4 o'clock in the afternoon till 7 o'clock in the morning. And you want to be awake at some of them times because fish are moving at them times when you're asleep. It's all sorts of different aspects like that. I mean, I can't bring every single detail that makes me happy or unhappy about carp fishing in an hour-long film. It just ain't going to happen. But the details I'm explaining are bits and pieces that I can think about now. But I suppose the best time, one of the best times in carp fishing I've had is with Pete Springate when we fished at Wraysbury at one time, and the wind was that high. It was a force 50, sort of 60, something like that, and we were going against it, and I was rolling the boats out like that, and then rolling back. It was like a speedboat, you know. That was fishing. That was fishing at its hardest. Well, if you're targeting big fish, I mean, you've got to change everything you're doing and be single-mindedness about that one particular fish. Anytime you see, wherever you find it being caught, that's your next designation, to check out why it was caught there. I mean, has it been caught before? If you're going on a new lake for a big fish, your priority is to find out who's caught it, how many times it's been caught, where's it been caught from. They're your first 3 things you've got to do. And once you've found them 3 things out, then you start going to look for the fish. And you're looking for the fish by getting up and down trees if you're allowed to, or not allowed to, if you don't know the people, or you're not, you know, like I used to, you get in the lake and find out areas. It all depends what the rules are. But to be successful, there's no doubt about it in my mind, and I think if you speak to anyone in my same mindset, that Pete Springate would be another one with the same sort of mindset. You talk to them about how to catch big fish and they'll tell you the same. It's got to be on your mind all the time. And whatever you're doing, I mean, obviously if you've got a job that you've got to concentrate on, then once you've done that little bit of job and you've got 5 minutes, the first thing you'll think of is where's that fish at? Well, the first thing you'll do is look out the window and look at the sky. I wonder where she'll be now. That's what you do. That's to simplify the things that I've done.